every version of the Audi R8 explained. R8 4.2 FSI Quattro Coupe. The original R8 arrived like a meteor hitting the supercar world. Based on the Lamborghini Gallardo platform, this thing was Audi's first real supercar attempt, and they absolutely nailed it. The 4.2-liter V8 made 420 horsepower and 317 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds, top speed of 187 miles per hour. But the real magic was in how civilized it was. You could drive this thing to work every day without your chiropractor getting rich. The aluminum space frame kept weight down to 3,400 pounds. The Quattro system used a 40-60 front-to-rear split that could send up to 85% to the rear when you really got on it. It was like having a race car that wouldn't try to kill you in a parking lot. The R-tronic transmission was, well, let's be honest, it was terrible. Slow, jerky, and made parking feel like operating heavy machinery. Most smart buyers went with the 6-speed manual, which had one of the most satisfying gear changes in the business. R8 5.2 FSI Quattro Coupe. Then Audi said, you know what? Let's get crazy. In 2009, they dropped the Lamborghini Gallardo's 5.2-liter V10 into the R8. 525 horsepower and 391 pound-feet of torque. This wasn't just more power, this was a completely different animal. The V10 screamed to 8,700 RPM with a sound that could wake the dead. 0 to 60 dropped to 3.7 seconds. Top speed jumped to 196 miles per hour. But the real party happened between 4,000 and 8,000 RPM, where this thing pulled like a freight train while making sounds that belonged in a cathedral. Visual changes included bigger side intakes, a more aggressive rear diffuser, and those iconic LED daytime running lights that every Audi since has copied. The V10 also got unique 19-inch wheels and a slightly different front bumper. R8 Spyder 5.2 FS I Quattro. Because apparently some people wanted to hear that V10 even better, Audi chopped the roof off. The Spyder arrived in 2010 with the V10 engine only initially. The soft top folded down in 19 seconds at speeds up to 31 miles per hour. When it was down, you got the full symphony of that naturally aspirated engine without any roof to muffle it. The Spyder was about 440 pounds heavier than the coupe due to reinforcement needed when you remove the roof. Performance took a small hit, 0 to 60 in 4.1 seconds. But honestly, you didn't care when you were cruising with the top down and that V10 singing behind your head. The chassis engineers did incredible work maintaining rigidity. There was barely any cowl shake or flex, even over rough roads. It felt almost as solid as the hardtop. R8 Spyder 4.2 FSI Quattro. For those who wanted open-air driving but didn't need the full V10 experience, Audi finally offered the Spyder with the V8 engine in 2011. Same 420 horsepower as the V8 coupe, but with the added weight of the convertible mechanism. Performance was respectable, 0 to 60 in 4.8 seconds, and it was significantly less expensive than the V10 Spyder. The V8 Spyder made sense for people who wanted the R8 experience without the V10's thirst for premium fuel and higher maintenance costs. R8 GT. This is where Audi got serious about track performance. The R8 GT was a limited production monster, only 333 made worldwide. It took the V10 and cranked everything up to 11. 560 horsepower, 398 pound-feet of torque, and 220 pounds less weight than the standard V10. How did they save weight? Carbon fiber everywhere. The rear wing, side blades, front splitter, and even the engine bay cover were all carbon. They ditched the rear seats, used thinner glass, and even drilled holes in the brake pedal. The suspension was lowered and stiffened. The exhaust was louder and more aggressive. The aerodynamics were completely reworked with that massive rear wing and front splitter. Performance was brutal. 0 to 60 in 3.6 seconds, quarter mile in 11.8 seconds, and a top speed of 199 miles per hour. On track, it could pull over 1G in corners and stop from 60 miles per hour in just 108 feet. Only 90 R8 GTs made it to the United States, making them incredibly rare today. R8 GT Spyder. For the ultimate open-air track experience, Audi made 80 GT Spyders worldwide. Same 560 horsepower VE10, same weight-saving measures, but with the added drama of no roof. The GT Spyder was 85 kilograms lighter than a standard V10 Spyder, thanks to all the carbon fiber and weight reduction. Performance was nearly identical to the GT Coupe, the weight difference was minimal in real-world driving. But the sound, with no roof to contain it, the GT Spyder's exhaust note was absolutely intoxicating. R8.2 FSI Quattro Coupe Facelift. For 2013, Audi gave the R8 a mid-cycle refresh. The V8 got a power bump to 430 horsepower, and the styling was updated with new LED headlights and revised taillights. The big news was the introduction of the S-tronic dual-clutch transmission. Finally, an automatic that didn't suck. 7 speeds, lightning-fast shifts, and it actually worked properly in traffic. The facelift also brought improved interior materials and Audi's updated MMI infotainment system. It was still the same great car, just refined and improved. R8.2 FSI Quattro Coupe. The V10 got the same facelift treatment, with power staying at 525 horsepower, but getting the new S-tronic transmission option. The updated styling was subtle but effective. The new LED headlights looked more modern, and the revised rear end was cleaner. Inside, the virtual cockpit made its debut, replacing traditional gauges with a 12.3-inch digital display. R8 Spyder 4.2 FSI Quattro. The V8 Spyder got the same updates as the Coupe. More power, better transmission, updated styling. It remained the entry point into R8 Spyder ownership. R8 Spyder 5.2 FSI Quattro. The V10 Spyder received the facelift updates, making it more refined while keeping that incredible engine note. The S-tronic transmission made it much more livable in daily driving. R8 V10 Plus. The new flagship of the R8 lineup, the V10 Plus, cranked power up to 550 horsepower and 398 pound-feet of torque. It was like a slightly toned-down GT with more comfort features. The Plus got unique styling elements, a fixed rear wing, carbon fiber side blades, and a more aggressive front splitter. The interior featured diamond-quilted leather and carbon fiber trim. Performance was serious, 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds, top speed of 198 miles per hour. The Plus bridged the gap between the standard V10 and the hardcore GT R8 competition. As a send-off for the first generation, Audi created the competition. Only 60 were made, all for the European market. Based on the V10 Plus, the competition got unique Sepang blue paint, carbon fiber accents, and special interior trim. It was essentially a final celebration of the first generation R8 V8. Limited edition, limited to 100 units, featuring unique Suzuka gray paint and special interior trim. R8 V10, limited edition, another limited run with exclusive colors and equipment. R8, China edition, special edition for the Chinese market with unique styling elements. R8 LMX, the crown jewel of first generation special editions. Limited to just 99 units worldwide, the LMX was the first production car with laser headlights. The laser high beams could illuminate the road up to 1,640 feet ahead, twice as far as LED headlights. Under the hood was a 570 horsepower version of the V10. Each LMX came in exclusive Aura Blue crystal paint with carbon fiber side blades and diamond quilted leather interior. At 210,000 euros, it was the most expensive R8 ever built at the time, R8 V10 Coupe. In 2015, Audi completely redesigned the R8. Gone was the V8 option. This was V10 only, and it was spectacular. The new R8 shared its platform with the Lamborghini Huracan, but Audi's engineers made it distinctly different. The body was sharper, more angular, with those signature side blades now integrated into the design. The base V10 made 540 horsepower and 398 pound-feet of torque. The 7-speed dual-clutch transmission was now the only option, no more manual, which broke enthusiasts' hearts but made the car faster. 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds, top speed of 200 miles per hour. The chassis was 40% more rigid than the first generation despite being lighter. Magnetic ride suspension could adjust damping in milliseconds. R8 Spyder V10. The second generation Spyder arrived in 2017 with the same 540 horsepower V10. The new soft top was lighter and could open or close in 20 seconds at speeds up to 31 miles per hour. Performance was nearly identical to the coupe. The weight difference was only about 265 pounds. With the top down, the V10's soundtrack was even more dramatic. R8 V10 Plus Coupe. the flagship of the second generation. 610 horsepower and 413 pound-feet of torque from that glorious naturally aspirated V10. 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds, quarter mile in 11.2 seconds, top speed of 205 miles per hour. The Plus got unique styling, a fixed rear wing, carbon fiber side blades, and a more aggressive front splitter. The interior featured diamond quilted leather and carbon fiber trim throughout. 3 driving modes: comfort, dynamic, and track. In track mode, the suspension stiffened, the exhaust opened up, and the Quattro system sent more power to the rear wheels. R8 Spyder V10 Plus, the open-air version of the flagship. Same 610 horsepower, same performance, but with the added drama of hearing that V10 without a roof to muffle it. The Spyder Plus was the ultimate expression of the R8 concept. Maximum performance with maximum sensory experience. R8 V10 RWS. In a surprising move, Audi created a rear-wheel drive version of the R8. RWS stood for Rear Wheel Series. The V10 RWS ditched the Quattro system entirely, sending all 540 horsepower to the rear wheels only. It was 110 pounds lighter than the AWD version, and had a completely different character. But without the front wheels helping with traction, the RWS was more playful, more willing to slide the rear end around corners. It was like Audi's engineers decided to have some fun. Limited to 999 units worldwide, the RWS got unique styling elements and special wheels. Performance was actually slightly better in some situations due to reduced weight and drivetrain losses. R8 V10 Quattro Coupe. For 2019, Audi facelifted the second generation R8. The base V10 now made 562 horsepower, a significant bump from the previous 540. The styling was updated with new front and rear bumpers, revised side intakes, and updated LED lighting. Inside, the virtual cockpit was improved with better graphics and more customization options. R8 V10 Quattro Spyder. The Spyder got the same updates as the coupe: more power, updated styling, improved interior. It remained the perfect car for those who wanted to hear every note of that V10 symphony. R8 V10 Performance Quattro Coupe. The new flagship replaced the V10 Plus. Power jumped to 612 horsepower and 428 pound-feet of torque. Performance was brutal: 0 to 60 in 3.1 seconds, top speed of 205 miles per hour. The performance got unique styling elements and track-focused suspension tuning. It was the ultimate expression of the Quattro R8. R8 V10 Performance Quattro Spyder. The open-air version of the performance. Same incredible power, same track-focused setup, but with the roof chopped off for maximum sensory overload. R8 V10 RWD Coupe. Audi expanded the rear-wheel drive lineup with a new base RWD model. 562 horsepower sent to the rear wheels only, making it the most affordable way into R8 ownership. The RWD maintained the playful character of the RWS, but was available in larger numbers. R8 V10 Performance RWD Coupe. For the final years, Audi created the ultimate rear-wheel drive R8. 602 horsepower, sent exclusively to the rear wheels. This was the most powerful rear-wheel drive production Audi ever built. It combined maximum power with maximum engagement, no electronic nannies to save you from yourself. R8 GT RWD Coupe, the final hurrah. Limited to just 333 units worldwide, the GT RWD was Audi's farewell to the R8, and what a farewell it was. This wasn't just another special edition with unique paint. The GT RWD was 44 pounds lighter than the standard performance RWD, thanks to a titanium roll cage, carbon fiber hood, and deleted rear seats. The 5.2-liter V10 was tuned to produce 602 horsepower, the most powerful rear-wheel drive Audi ever built. But here's the kicker. Audi's engineers programmed the stability control to be more permissive. Translation: this thing wanted to slide, and Audi was okay with that. The GT RWD came with Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2 tires as standard, because regular tires simply couldn't handle what this car was capable of. Each GT came with a numbered plaque and a special key fob. Buyers also received a driving experience at the Nürburgring, because Audi figured if you're spending $200,000 plus on their final R8, you should know how to use it properly. R8 e-tron. Audi's attempt at an electric R8 was ambitious. The e-tron used 4 electric motors, producing a combined 456 horsepower. It could hit 60 miles per hour in 3.9 seconds and had a range of about 280 miles. Only 100 were ever built, and most went to Audi executives and VIP customers. The e-tron was more of a technology showcase than a serious production car. The battery pack was massive, the charging infrastructure wasn't ready, and frankly, it didn't sound like an R8 should. Most e-trons were quietly bought back by Audi when the batteries started showing their age. It was an interesting experiment that proved electric supercars were possible, but the world wasn't quite ready yet. R8, star of Lucis. This might be the weirdest R8 ever built. Created as a tie-in with the video game Final Fantasy XV, only one was ever made. The star of Lucis featured custom black paint with blue accents, unique wheels, and interior trim that matched the game's aesthetic. It was displayed at various auto shows and gaming conventions before disappearing into Audi's collection. It proved that even serious German engineers could have a sense of humor about their cars. R8 V10 Decennium. To celebrate 10 years of the V10 engine in the R8, Audi created the Decennium, limited to 222 units worldwide, a number chosen to represent the 2019 model year. The Decennium came exclusively in Daytona gray, with bronze accents throughout. The interior featured special Alcantara and leather with bronze stitching. Under the hood was the full 612 horsepower V10 performance engine, but the real celebration was in the details. The engine bay featured a special plaque commemorating the V10's decade in the R8. The exhaust note was tuned to be slightly more aggressive, giving the Decennium a unique sound signature. Each car came with a custom car cover and a scale model. It was Audi's way of saying thank you to the V10 engine that had defined the R8's character. R8 V10 Quattro Final Edition. As rumors swirled about the R8's discontinuation, Audi created what they thought might be the final Quattro R8. Limited to 100 units, each came with unique Suzuka gray paint and special interior trim. The final edition featured the 612 horsepower V10 performance engine and came loaded with every available option. Carbon fiber exterior package, ceramic brakes, magnetic ride suspension, everything Audi could throw at it. Ironically, it wasn't actually the final R8, as Audi continued production for several more years. But it captured the emotion of what felt like the end of an era. R8 Panther Edition. Exclusive to the North American market, the Panther Edition was all about stealth. Finished in Panther black crystal effect paint, it looked like it could disappear into the night. The Panther Edition was based on the V10 performance and came with black exterior accents, black wheels, and a black interior with red stitching. Only 30 were allocated to the United States. The name was a nod to Audi's racing heritage. The company's logo features 4 interlocked rings, but internally they sometimes referred to their most aggressive models as Panthers, R8 LMS. While road car buyers were falling in love with the R8's civility, Audi's racing division was turning it into a weapon. The original R8 LMS was a full GT3 race car based on the first generation R8. The V10 was detuned to around 500 horsepower for reliability, but the real changes were in the aerodynamics and weight reduction. The LMS featured a massive rear wing, aggressive front splitter, and wide body kit that made it look like it was doing 200 miles per hour while standing still. The interior was stripped bare, except for a full roll cage, racing seat, and essential controls. Customer teams could buy an LMS for around 400,000 euros, and it became one of the most successful GT3 cars ever built. The LMS won races all over the world and proved that the R8's platform wasn't just good for road cars. R8 LMS Evolution, an improved version of the original LMS with better aerodynamics and refined suspension. The Evolution was faster and more reliable, helping customer teams win even more races. R8 LMS Ultra. The Ultra was a complete redesign based on the facelifted first-generation R8. It was lighter, more aerodynamically efficient, and easier to drive at the limit. The Ultra dominated GT3 racing for years, winning championships in Europe, Asia, and North America. It was so successful that other manufacturers started copying Audi's approach to customer racing. R8 Grand Am, a special version of the LMS designed specifically for North American Grand Am racing. The Grand Am had different aerodynamics and suspension tuning to suit the unique requirements of American Racing Series. R8 LMS GT3 second generation. Based on the second-generation road car, the new LMS was even more advanced. The V10 was completely redesigned for racing, with different internals and a more aggressive tune. The second-generation LMS continued Audi's winning ways in GT3 racing, taking victories at prestigious events like the 24 Hours of Spa and the Bathurst 12-Hour. R8 LMS GT4. For customers who wanted race car performance but didn't need full GT3 specification, Audi created the LMS GT4. The GT4 was slightly toned down, around 495 horsepower and less extreme aerodynamics. It was more accessible for amateur racers and became popular in club racing around the world. R8 LMS GT2, the ultimate expression of the R8 racing program. The GT2 was designed for the new SRO GT2 series, which allowed more extreme modifications than GT3. With over 640 horsepower and even more aggressive aerodynamics, the GT2 was the closest thing to a prototype race car that still looked like an R8. Only a handful were built, making them incredibly rare and valuable. More than anything else, the R8 will be remembered for its sound. That naturally aspirated V10 was a masterpiece of acoustic engineering. The sound was so distinctive that you could identify an R8 from blocks away. It was the automotive equivalent of a signature, uniquely Audi, but with an emotional intensity that the brand had never achieved before. Production of the R8 ended in 2024, marking the end of Audi's supercar experiment. The naturally aspirated V10 couldn't meet increasingly strict emissions regulations, and the company was shifting focus to electric vehicles. The final R8s rolled off the production line in Böllingerhofe, Germany, where they had been hand-built since 2006. Each car took over 100 hours to assemble, with skilled craftsmen fitting every panel and component by hand. In total, Audi built approximately 57,000 R8s across both generations. It wasn't a huge number compared to mainstream cars, but for a supercar, it was remarkably successful. The R8 proved that Audi could build something truly special when they set their minds to it. It was a car that delivered on every promise, exceeded every expectation, and created memories that will last a lifetime. The Audi R8 wasn't supposed to exist, but for 18 years, it proved that sometimes the best things in life are the ones nobody saw coming. Which R8 variant speaks to you? The civilized V8, the screaming V10, or the tail-happy RWD models? Let us know in the comments. We love hearing from fellow enthusiasts who appreciate these incredible machines. See you in the next video.